have ever been told that gentle parenting is just letting children do whatever they want, I want to start by saying this clearly. Gentle parenting is not permissive parenting, and confusing the two has caused a lot of unnecessary guilt, judgment, and misunderstanding for parents who are trying to raise emotionally healthy children. Many parents who choose a gentler approach still believe in structure, limits, and guidance. What they are rejecting is not boundaries. They are rejecting fear, shame, and control as teaching tools. For a long time, I struggled with this distinction myself. I worried that if I stayed calm, validated feelings, or choose connection first, I might be raising a child who could not handle limits or responsibility. I worried that kindness would somehow weaken authority. But child development tells a very different story. Gentle parenting is rooted in how the developing brain learns. Children are not born with the ability to regulate emotions, control impulses, or understand consequences in an adult way. Those skills grow slowly over time through experience, guidance, and repeated support. When children are overwhelmed, stressed, or emotionally flooded, the brain shifts into a survival state. In that state, learning shuts down. Logic becomes inaccessible. Punishment may stop behavior temporarily, but it does not build the skills needed for long-term growth. Permissive parenting, on the other hand, often avoids limits altogether. It prioritizes comfort over guidance and removes boundaries to prevent distress. While it may look gentle on the surface, it can actually leave children feeling unsafe. Children need limits to feel secure. They need adults who are willing to hold boundaries even when emotions are big. The difference between gentle and permissive parenting is not whether emotions are allowed. It is whether boundaries are held. Gentle parenting says, I see your feelings, and I will help you through them, while still keeping the limit. Permissive parenting says, I see your feelings, and I will remove the limit so you don't feel upset. One teaches emotional resilience. The other avoids discomfort at the cost of growth. Research consistently shows that children develop self-control through co-regulation before they can self-regulate. That means they need an adult to stay present, calm, and firm while emotions pass. This is not indulgence. It is skill building. When a parent stays steady during a child's storm, the child's nervous system learns what calm feels like. Over time, that calm becomes internal. This is why gentle parenting still includes clear expectations, consistent routines, and firm limits. The difference is in how those limits are enforced. Gentle parenting does not rely on fear to gain obedience. It relies on relationship to build cooperation. It does not ask children to obey blindly. It teaches them to understand, trust, and eventually internalize values. There is also a spiritual layer to this that often goes unspoken. Authority was never meant to be harsh. Guidance was never meant to humiliate. Scripture often describes leadership as shepherding rather than controlling. A shepherd does not abandon boundaries, but neither does a shepherd drive with cruelty. They lead with presence, consistency, and care. Children respond best to authority that feels safe. When a parent can say no without anger, hold limits without threats, and guide without shaming, a child learns that boundaries are not punishments. They are protection. Many parents fear that gentle parenting will produce entitled children. What actually produces entitlement is inconsistency. When limits appear and disappear based on mood, guilt, or exhaustion, children do not learn responsibility. Gentle parenting works best when boundaries are predictable and calm. The adult remains the anchor. This approach also requires us to regulate ourselves. Gentle parenting is not about controlling children. It is about controlling our reactions. It asks us to pause, breathe, and respond rather than react. That work is not easy. It often brings up our own childhood patterns, triggers, and beliefs. But that inner work is where change happens. It is important to say this clearly. Gentle parenting does not mean never saying no. It does not mean letting children run the home. It does not mean ignoring misbehavior. It means teaching instead of punishing, guiding instead of shaming, and leading instead of forcing. Children who are raised with both empathy and structure learn something powerful. They learn that their feelings are valid, but not all behaviors are acceptable. They learn that limits can exist without rejection. They learn that correction does not have to come with fear. If you're trying to parent gently and feel misunderstood, you're not alone. Many parents are choosing this path. because they want to break cycles, not because they want to avoid responsibility. They are choosing to raise children who are emotionally aware, respectful, and capable of self-control from the inside out. Parenting was never meant to be about domination. It was meant to be about formation. And formation takes patience, presence, and time. If this reflection brought clarity, share it with someone who may be confused about gentle parenting. And if you want more reflections grounded in child development, motherhood, and quiet faith, you are welcome to stay here with me. You are not alone in this work. See you in the next reflection.